Hello and welcome to the Professional Leadership Lab. My name is Professor Barbara Mitchell and I'll be joining you over the next several weeks. Recently I read the book Leadership in Turbulent Times by Doris Kearns Goodwin. Early in the book she ponders the question, do leaders shape the times or do the times summon their leaders? If we ask 5 different people, we get 5 different answers. And in a way that's what makes leadership exciting. Leadership is a function of our own experiences, our own perspectives, and from that we come with our own leadership viewpoint. This question about what kind of leaders do we need in order to meet the times is a concept that we're going to be looking at continuously. I wanted to take a minute and talk about our perspective on leadership and leadership education. We believe we are providing students with bold frameworks as we think about the demands that leaders encounter in the 21st century. Many of you are already fully aware and engaged in the global society and encountering large changes, whether fueled by digital or societal disruption. You may be facing them as you go to work in nonprofit or for-profit or in government. All of us are facing the impacts of large change, and it influences the way we think about leadership. We are hoping to develop a leadership population of incredibly talented students who are willing to go forward in the world to solve some of our greatest challenges. I wanted to provide a broad overview of the Leadership Lab for those of you who find this concept new. This program will offer you a portfolio of experiences that will prepare you no matter where you are in your leadership journey, whether you're just contemplating leadership, you're a current leader, or you're an experienced leader. All these experiences are designed to prepare you to be adept and agile in the field of leadership. We hope to facilitate the relationship with Northeastern throughout your careers, whether you're a current student or an alumni. We hope you'll find our faculty in the leadership programs expert. They will guide you and facilitate your journey throughout the program. Please also take advantage in our class of the diversity of experiences that are available throughout our broad student body. We look at the discussion boards as an opportunity to provide mentoring and to receive mentoring. I wanted to spend a minute and talk about the competencies or meta-categories that define leaders of the 20th century. Let's start with the development of self. To me and many of our faculty, the development of a strong self-awareness and understanding, knowing what triggers are or what our biases are, helps us be better leaders. As we study leaders, we observe the development of self-awareness is so important. Unless you're clear about who you are and what your own value system is, what your own moral compass is, it's incredibly difficult to be a leader. The development of others speaks to me as a servant leader. I feel it is incumbent to use my own resources and skills to help others be successful, to ensure they have the right resources, and to share the knowledge that I have experienced as I've been a leader. Throughout this program, we will start with the development of self. And you will also see the next step, the development of others, as we build your skills. Strategic thinking and acting tends to be one of those areas that some folks struggle with. It's hard to anticipate what change will be. Our speed and change these days is unprecedented. How do we help our team focus on those things that are going to be needed 2 to 5 years out? Ethical practice and civic mindedness means doing the right thing for the right reasons. Keeping the greater good at the forefront of your discussions, never dwindling into petty rivalries or acting in a way that might not reflect your best moral compass. When I speak of innovation, most people think of digital disruption, but in fact, innovation can take many different forms. We can think about process innovation, or how we can innovate in ways that help us work better together as a team. When we define innovation, we define it fairly broadly. The 2 foundational elements of our model are cross-cultural capabilities or global mindset and communication skills. Increasingly, we are finding that barriers are being removed from operating in different companies with different skill sets and with different populations. We need to now be more aware of cultural differences and the impacts that different regions are experiencing. We also need to think about how we fit in diverse points of view, making sure that everyone is incorporated in our decision making. Lastly, I've read that leaders spend about 80% of their time in a communication role, setting the vision, helping people be more prepared for the future, being transparent. Communication flows from one end of the organization to the other and is the bulk of my day. We believe all these elements together help you be a successful leader. During Module 1, we're going to spend some time thinking about our strengths and development needs as a leader. We'll use Strength Finder as an assessment to help us understand what are some of the core strengths that we need to leverage as we lead others. In addition to that, we're going to think about the paradox of leadership, where we have to use certain strengths in certain ways to be more effective. Sometimes we have a tendency to overuse our strengths. We'll think about how we can maybe scale that back. Or perhaps we're underusing our strength, and we'll think about ways to bring those strengths forward. We're also going to leverage the highly successful material from Stanford University called Design Your Life. From that material, we'll create our own Odyssey plan. During Module 2, we're going to explore how we take risks and build our own growth mindset, both for ourselves and for our team. We'll also look at how we can apply our own leadership through a simulation. The simulation will give us an understanding of how effective we are at some of the ways that we think about leadership, and also how we build our own leadership credibility. We'll go through 2 rounds for the simulation so that we have a chance to apply what we've learned through the second round. Module 3, we're going to look at best practices related to resilience, and particularly what are some triggers that might affect our outlook in terms of how we deal with some of the challenges that come up day to day. We'll wrap everything up with creating a leadership development plan, and if you haven't done so already, we'll create an e-portfolio which we will store our documents from this class as well as artifacts from future classes. Like many classes, our assignments will sometimes take the form of discussion boards, other times they'll take the form of turning something in. What's different about this class is that we're going to ask you to keep a journal. Very often the journal entries will be part of our practice component. Sometimes those entries will be dealt with that particular module. So in other words, we'll do a discussion board or perhaps an assignment related to it. But we want you also to be capturing your learnings throughout our time together. In your final assignment, we're going to ask you to reflect on everything you've learned. If you've kept a good journal, either a paper version or electronic version, you'll be better equipped to be able to answer that prompt, more importantly, to expand your own learning of leadership. So that's a little bit about how we'll be partnering together over the next several weeks. However, our Leadership Learning Lab is part of our community. We have CPS leaders and faculty who provide expertise and often facilitate you through this journey. Don't forget, both as a student and as an alumni, you can connect in with our expert faculty and our other resources. You'll learn throughout our program that we have an XN team that will help you identify opportunities to apply your learnings to real-life work. And finally, we'll talk about some other resources within our learning community that will help you as you continue to grow as a leader. I'm looking forward to working with you over the next several weeks. As always, don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions at all. I can be reached at ba.mitchell@northeastern.edu. I look forward to our journey.